Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Today, we have Cicely Carda, who works at Amerifund with Reverse Loan Solutions. And Cicely, you are an amazing reverse loan officer. I just want you to take a moment, introduce yourself, and tell everybody how you got into this space.
Hi, I'm Cicely Carda, and I got into reverse mortgages because a friend of my dad's, that's what she has done for, I think, 20 plus years now. And I was working I was running a drywall business, basically. I was the main person and did everything. And she was like, you would be so good at this, and I will help you and I'll train you. And so I took the plunge and I got licensed, and here we are today. I just felt like helping seniors in a different kind of way was very fascinating to me, and how to go about doing it. I really thought that was I don't know, just such a good thing.
I can't agree with you more. It is such a good thing. And you're really good at educating seniors. The thing I think I like most about you, the way that you go about things, is you really seek to understand. So, can I ask how you start that process when somebody says, "Hey, I think maybe I need to talk about a reverse mortgage"? What's your
Yeah.
process to go from there?
So I schedule a call with them, and if they're married or significant other, I guess it would be, I schedule the call so we can all talk together. And I kind of have a script so I can make sure that I ask all of the questions. I don't want to leave anything out. This is not typically a quick call. It can last an hour, maybe a little more, because there is a lot of questions to get answered that I need to know to make sure that this is the right decision for them, and their thoughts behind it are matching their goals. Like, is this part of their financial goal in the end? So yeah, we go through the list of questions, and I find out if it's going to be beneficial for them, and if that's what they really want for their
Yeah.
future.
When somebody answers these questions, are there certain questions or answers that you hear and you're like, "Oh, a reverse isn't a fit for you"?
If they say something like, well, I'm planning on, I don't, I'm only going to be here a couple more years. So I guess that could turn into a reverse for purchase if they wanted to move somewhere else, or if they are going into a nursing home or something where they're leaving the home, then that's most likely not going to be a good fit for them if they're not going to be staying in that house.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the requirements for reverse, if you guys aren't aware, you must live in the home as the primary residence.
Correct. Yes.
All right. All right. This is a little bit of a loaded question, but what are your favorite features of the reverse mortgage loan?
So I think one of the ones that I like the most, and it's mostly because my dad has one now, but the fact that he has the option of making a payment. It's not required. You do have to make the taxes and insurance, and if there's an HOA or any other like flood insurance or something. But the fact that he still is telling me, oh, I have all this money because I don't have to make my house payment this month. So that I really like, that it gives you, there's so many options with a reverse mortgage. And that one, like, if he doesn't ever want to make that again while he's in the home, that's fine. And if he does, then that's fine too. So that is one of the neatest features that I like about it.
All right.
And it
So
has been
for
helpful.
somebody watching who's saying, "Well, okay, but if I have a regular payment on my existing mortgage, why would I move to a reverse mortgage and still make a payment? Why would somebody want to make a payment on their reverse if they have the option not to?"
If somebody wanted to keep the loan balance down, I guess, or if they wanted to leave more equity to their children. A lot of people are like, I really want to leave this equity to my kids. So if they make that payment, it keeps the loan balance down, which frees up more equity for when they pass it along to their children or their heirs or whoever they decide to leave it to.
Yeah, that is a huge one. The other one that I can encounter sometimes is to increase that line of credit.
Oh, yes.
You
The line
know,
of credit.
the line of
Yes.
credit.
Yes. That's another one. I didn't know how much we wanted to go into that, but yeah, the line of credit can be increased, especially if it's a younger borrower and they want to contribute to that. And if they've been contributing for 10 years, and it grows that much more by making that payment.
Yeah, so beautiful. And then it compounds. So for anybody who doesn't understand what we're talking about, I'm going to go back and explain it. The line of credit with the reverse mortgage is FHA insured on the HECM type of reverse mortgage. And now with that, it has a growth rate, meaning it's going to grow. It grows faster than if you waited till you were older to do a reverse mortgage. And just like Cicely alluded to, if you make payments, you dollar for dollar increase your line of credit. And then the compounding growth is beautiful on that, right? So the growth rate
Yes.
is based on the balance. And if you're increasing the balance of that line of credit, or excuse me, the available balance, if you're increasing that, growth on 100,000 is a lot bigger than growth on 10,000.
Correct. Yes. So maybe they're super healthy now, but maybe in 20 years they might need it for whatever reason, and then it's grown that much more by
Or
making
want
a
it.
payment. Yeah, exactly. Want it is another thing.
I love it. We get people going, "Oh, I don't need a reverse mortgage." Well, great. Some of my clients need it, but a lot just want it. Do you know why you would want it?
Yeah, that was my dad.
Was
That
it?
was my dad. He told me, I don't need it, I don't need it, I don't need it. And then when I explained it to him, he's like, oh, but I want that. I don't need it, but I want it. So
Well, I've got to give you credit for that, because among reverse mortgage loan officers, a common joke is like, yeah, we save the world, but we can't save our own family. A lot of people in the reverse space have trouble communicating the benefits and their family won't actually listen. So huge
right.
props to you for getting that done. How did you?
So I actually told him, I said, well, at the time I just was like, well, I just want to practice my presentation. So can I use you? And I used his numbers instead of just explaining it. I actually used his numbers so he could see what it would do for him. And I invited my brother over because it would, my brother and I are getting whatever he's giving us when he's gone. And so I wanted my brother to understand it. And so we sat down and I went through it. And so my brother could understand it more. My brother's excited to be able to do one when he's of age as well. So, yeah, so I went over, I presented it, I left it at that. I wasn't trying to push him. I just wanted, feedback and all of that. But I really, really wanted him to see the benefit of it. And then 2 weeks later, he called and said, you know what? I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, I'm going to do that. And so I was like, yay. And since my brother was there was no objections because he understood it as well. He could see like, oh, okay, so we're, the common myth is, oh, well, you lose your home. No, you don't. We still get to keep his home. And if we want to buy it when he's gone, we can. And if we want to sell it when he's gone, we can. So it was, I don't know. I just thought I was really surprised he called me 2 weeks later and said, you know what, I'm going to do that. And he's so happy that he has it. So.
I can tell you, for a lot of reverse professionals, we are all cheering for you, because like I have a grandma, I have a story about, who just would never listen. She just would not listen. And, family sometimes can be the hardest to explain what we do.
Right.
One of the reverse mortgage people I talk to sometimes, he's like, yeah, my parents think I do mortgages, just regular mortgages. They won't listen.
He doesn't even bother.
Yeah. So this is actually, I didn't think of this before, but you're an heir to someone with a reverse mortgage. So
Yes.
separate from your role as a loan officer, as an heir to someone with a reverse mortgage, how do you feel about that? What thoughts went through your head about your parents or your dad actually having one of these?
Well, he's still young and he skis, he bikes, he's all over the place. And I feel like, why wouldn't you I don't know. I talked to my brother, but like neither one of us care. We're like, we're not the ones that are, oh, what do we get? You know, they're killing their parents before they're dead. And we're not that way. I hate to say that, but I felt like, well, why shouldn't he be able to do the things he wants to do while he's still young and healthy by not having a required mortgage payment? So I was like, I think that he should use this money. Well, I have all this equity. Well, so what? Why not you put it to use? He wants to fly first class to Australia. So he's going to be able to do that because of this. And his line of credit, he's building it up so he can buy a new car. That's what I guess as an heir. The other thing is he lives in a 55 plus, and my brother and I have a couple years before we would turn 55 to be able to even live in that house if we wanted. So, but the option that there's still going to be equity when he leaves, and if that is the last place he's going to live, we may just want to sell it and not even keep that house. I feel like most children of seniors don't want their parents' house. I don't know if either one of us would ever want to live there. We may want it as a rental, but I just felt like if my dad can have the life he wants while he's still young and healthy, then that's what I want for my dad, because I want to see my dad happy. His house is not like, oh, I can't wait till I get my dad's house. That is not on my mind. And knowing that there's still going to be equity when he is gone is great, just like a bonus for me.
That's so cool. So as an heir, just for our audience to clarify, you will still inherit that home.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
And what will you need to do with the reverse?
So with the reverse, we do need to notify the lender that he has left the home, whatever reason that may be. And we can buy it. We can refinance it and put it into our names, or we can sell it, and whatever the proceeds are after fees of selling a home, we get to keep. So
beautiful. Yeah, it's just I think
to me, it's like win-win.
It's totally a win-win. And if for whatever reason the market were to just tank and you were in the situation where that mortgage balance is higher than the value of the home, you could mail the keys in. You could sell it for 95% and the rest of his assets are protected. You still get,
don't have to,
right? And they don't come after you.
Right.
I love that, which is rare. We only saw that in like 2008, 2009,
right,
when it really goes south fast.
something that really happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening, but
no,
I think they put into place a lot of things to make sure that doesn't happen again. But
right.
Just never know. That is the nicest thing, is that we're not like, oh great, now we have this huge financial burden, and how are we going to deal with that? And like you said, bye.
Right.
So yeah,
I love that feature. Okay, so one of the things I heard, I want to ask if you would encourage the audience, if they're thinking about a reverse, why is it important that they would talk to their children and all of them, or maybe bring them into the conversation? I think that's something that you as a loan officer really do a good job of, that people may not be aware of why that's an important aspect.
I think because a client that I have, he's spending a lot of money, and his kids are worried that, okay, what if he doesn't make this house payment? And bringing the whole family in, as I did with my brother, everybody gets a clear picture of what it is and how it can help their mother, father, or even themselves, with, depending on the age of the person. I think that having everyone in on it and understanding the whole thing, then they know what next step to take or how to go about it with their parents. If the parents are having a hard time paying their bills, this is a great way to increase some of their cash flow. And then everyone understands it, and everyone can, I think, group together and decide how they should move forward, I guess, because there's several different ways of structuring a reverse loan. So, what's going to be best for their parents, their dad, or themselves. Like I said, maybe it's themselves. This particular person, the son-in-law and the daughter are probably going to do a reverse purchase, but they're just not in their forever home. So they're just waiting. They're doing some remodeling and waiting for their forever home. And then they want to do the reverse as well. They just want to make sure that their father-in-law or father can stay in that home so that he doesn't lose that house, basically, because he's having some financial issues. We'll just put it that way.
Okay. Yeah. And some of the worst situations I've seen that I think you help prevent is our heirs who had no idea.
Right.
And they feel, I don't know, shocked, surprised, stiffed.
Yes. Yeah. Because if I don't know, I feel like something needs to happen and the family needs to get together and address this. I mean, speaking of another client I had, the wife did not want, and she didn't want to even hear the words reverse mortgage. The husband could not wait to get one, and he was retired. She was still working. And then at the time I said, well, my dad's working on it. And she's like, what? Your dad's doing this? And she listened and she did it. And she has one son that was very, very against it. Same thing. But she's like, I don't even care what he says. This is right for me. And I know that this is the best thing. She retired. She got to retire because of it. They got a new roof. She got her teeth fixed. It was they're so happy that they got that done. And the husband's super happy too, because he can now spend time with his wife in retirement as opposed to listening to her complain from standing on her feet, still working. So, yeah, I think just sharing with your family what you're doing, and it's ultimately the homeowner's decision. I don't think it's the kid's decision.
Absolutely.
I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, in my practice, I don't see a lot of kids who are against it. The kids who are against it are typically the kids who haven't been brought into the conversation. And once you bring them into the conversation and say, hey, this is how it works, this is probably going to be a win-win for your parents while they're alive and a win for you when you inherit the house, because look, there's still a lot of equity left at all these various points in time.
Yes.
And the kid who is against everything typically is few and far between. And sometimes it's like, well, okay, what is the solution then? They don't have one.
Yes. I know. Yeah. And even if they say, oh, it's not there, she's not the right age. Well, why not? This could be the vehicle to get them to retirement. You don't have to be 70.
Right. Right. Just like you're saying, enjoy your retirement years young with the money that you have, because as you get into your 80s, 90s, a lot of people find that they don't go out into the world as much. They're not needing those funds to go. What were all the sporting activities? Golfing, hiking, Australia. Like,
yes,
you got to do that stuff early in retirement to get it in, get those memories. And I truly believe getting that level of excitement, getting that level of like really living, I think it helps you into your retirement years stay healthy, because you have fun. You have things to live for.
You're not stressed about, how am I going to make this house payment? Or maybe you can make it, but now you have the funds. Okay, you can make your house payment, but maybe you can't go to Australia. And maybe now this is your way to get there, or wherever it is. Go live by your grandkids that live 2 states over. Now you have the option to go visit them, or whatever it is. Yeah. Completely different. I don't know. It just opens up a whole different world, I feel like, for people that are 62 and older, and some of them that are 55 and up. It depends.
Yeah, it does.
What's cool too.
Can you go into that a little bit?
There are some proprietary products that start at age 55. It kind of depends on the state. which ones you can do, but there's like a jumbo, and then there's the Heckham, which you mentioned at the beginning, and that's for 62 and older, and that's FHA insured. And it just depends. Like I said, we go through a lot of questions to make sure we get you the right loan for you. It's not like, oh, you're 62, this is this, and then walk away. There's a lot into it, and people don't understand that. It's not just, what's your down payment and here's your rate. You got to really dig deep to find out what the goal is for the person living in the home, or if the family is making this decision together,
Absolutely.
what everybody's goal is.
I think you do a great job of that too. It's not just the one goal, it's many goals, and you figure out, and that's the advisory position we're in, right? If you call the 800 number off the TV, we don't currently have commercials. Maybe someday we will, but if you call the 800 number off the TV, a lot of the time you're getting somebody who's not put in the work to be an advisor like you have, and they have a formula. Their company says, do this, do this, do this, spit out the reverse mortgage quote. That's not your practice at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. I have become friends with every client, I swear. It's like, because you get to know them so well. It's almost impossible to not be by the time you close the loan, because it's a lot involved, but it's also, I just build relationships with them, and I love every one of them. I would not want to not talk to them anymore, because they're I don't know. It's just special to me that I can be in a business to where I develop friends that I never even knew I was going to have.
Yeah.
So
it is. I mean, you're changing their life,
yeah,
it's huge. All right, Cicely, well, we are at the end of our time together. If somebody wants to work with you, how do they find you?
So they can find me right now at Amerifund.com. I think we're having our let's just say my phone number, 720-635-4021. That's my cell phone. And then my email is Cicely, Cicely .Carda, Carda at reverseloansolutions.com.
Awesome. And we're going to put a link in the comments too. As you were talking, I'm like, I'm just going to put a link in the comments. It'll make it easier. Anybody, there's a link in the comments. If you want to work with Cicely, just submit your info and that'll go to her and she'll give you a call.
Yes. I'd be happy to talk to you.
All right, Cicely, before we go, I think you kind of answered it, but if you could, in a succinct phrase, how would you change the American retirement if you could?
That's a tough one. I feel like going back to the family thing, to where the family kind of discusses that. I think everybody, it seems like Americans are like, oh, I got to do everything myself. And we've kind of gotten away from the family thing. But yeah, I think just discussing how they're going to do that, because Americans are living a lot longer. The funds, 40 years ago were fine, but people live longer. So they're going to need more money for longer because they're going to live longer. So I think discussing that is a good way to help everyone live the rest of their life happily and not be in a struggle.
I love that. I think I read a stat that 1 in 4 Americans will get to the age 90.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's 90.
That's a lot.
A lot of years planning.
Yeah. So if you're retiring at 65, that's almost, what is it, 25 years? That's a long time.
Previous generations, right? Previous generations didn't have to plan for that long. And
and there was pensions and everything that people don't have anymore either. So
yeah. All right, I know we could go on and on, but there's another interview in our lineup of Cicely and her dad. So if you guys want to hear more about Cicely and her dad's journey, go and watch that video. It's in our lineup here. All right, Cicely, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
And
appreciate it.
Keep changing the world.
Yes, I'm trying. Keep trying.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.